Have you ever wondered what really separates a condominium from an apartment? On the surface, they can look almost identical. Multi-unit buildings, shared walls, and people living side by side. But once you dig deeper, you'll realize there are big differences in ownership, lifestyle, and even financial responsibility. Whether you're thinking of renting, buying, or just curious about real estate, knowing these differences can help you make smarter decisions. In today's video, we'll break it down in a simple, relatable way, so by the end, you'll know exactly which one might be the better fit for you. Right here on History of Simple Things. Let's start with the basics. Both condominiums, better known as condos, and apartments are housing units within a larger building or community. They're popular in cities where land is limited and people need efficient housing solutions. But what makes them different really comes down to ownership and how the properties are managed. When you walk into an apartment complex, all the units are typically owned by one entity, usually a landlord, property management company, or an investor group. People live there by renting. In contrast, a condominium building is divided into individually owned units. One person owns Unit 302, another person owns 402, and so on. So while it might look the same from the outside, the structure of ownership is very different. Ownership is probably the clearest distinction between condos and apartments. If you rent an apartment, you're paying a landlord each month, and that landlord or property company owns the building. You don't build equity in the unit, no matter how long you stay. Once you move out, that's it. Your financial relationship ends. But with a condo, the unit is owned by an individual. That person may live in it themselves, or they might choose to rent it out. For example, if you're living in a condo, your landlord is actually a private owner, not a big management company. And if you buy a condo, you own that property outright, just like owning a house. But instead of a yard and roof, you share walls, hallways, and amenities with your neighbors. Here's where things get more practical. In an apartment complex, the landlord or property management company takes care of maintenance. If your sink leaks or your heater stops working, you call the office and they send someone to fix it. Pretty straightforward, right? You're not responsible for paying repair bills unless you broke something through negligence. Condos, on the other hand, are a bit more complex. If you own a condo, you're responsible for the inside of your unit. Plumbing, appliances, and repairs are on you. But the shared spaces, like the lobby, gym, or pool, are maintained by a homeowners association, often called an HOA. Condo owners pay monthly HOA fees that cover these expenses. Renters in condos may not deal with HOA directly, but the condo owner, your landlord, does. So maintenance can vary depending on whether you're renting or owning. Now let's talk about lifestyle perks. Both apartments and condos can offer amenities like gyms, pools, lounges, or even rooftop gardens. But here's the subtle difference. In apartments, these amenities are included as part of your rent, and they're standardized for everyone in the building. The landlord maintains them, and you just use them. In condos, amenities are part of what makes ownership appealing. Because condo owners pay HOA fees, they often have a say in what amenities get added or upgraded. That means condo complexes sometimes have fancier perks. Think private movie theaters, wine cellars, or concierge services. Of course, the cost of those extras comes out of the HOA dues, which can be expensive. If you're a renter in a condo, you might benefit from these high-end perks without paying the ownership costs, but keep in mind your rent may reflect those expenses. Let's dig into money, because that's often the deal breaker for people deciding between the two. Renting an apartment usually has fewer upfront costs. You pay a security deposit and your first month's rent, and you're set. Monthly rent is generally stable, But keep in mind, landlords can raise rent when your lease is up, depending on market conditions and local laws. Owning a condo is a bigger financial commitment. You'll need a down payment, a mortgage, property taxes, and homeowner's insurance. On top of that, you'll pay HOA fees every month. Those fees can range from modest to very expensive, depending on the building and its amenities. The upside is that condos can appreciate in value, so you might be building equity over time. Apartments don't give you that benefit. You're essentially paying to live there without building ownership wealth. This one's more about the vibe. Apartment complexes often feel more temporary. People move in and out frequently, so you may not know your neighbors well. For some, that's great. For others, it can feel less like a community. Condo buildings, however, usually have more long-term residents. Since many people own their units, they stick around for years, which fosters a stronger sense of community. You might see the same neighbors at HOA meetings, holiday events, or just in the lobby year after year. If you're someone who likes stability and community, condos might feel more like home. From an investment point of view, apartments are strictly a rental expense. You don't own them, and they don't build wealth. But condos can be considered an entry point into real estate ownership. For people who can't afford a standalone house, buying a condo offers a chance to invest, build equity, and potentially earn rental income if you later decide to rent it out. The flip side is that condos don't always appreciate in value as much as houses do, especially in oversaturated markets. Plus, those HOA fees don't go away, which can eat into your investment returns. At the end of the day, condos and apartments may look alike on the outside, but the differences in ownership, responsibility, and lifestyle can be huge. Apartments offer flexibility and simplicity, while condos offer stability and investment potential. Understanding these differences isn't just about real estate, it's about figuring out what works best for your life, your budget, and your future plans. So next time someone asks you the difference between a condominium and an apartment, you'll have a clear, confident answer. And if you're considering a move, you'll know exactly what to look for. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.